Hi friends! I'm going to try making a recipe for you tonight on my camera, which I've never done before. I don't know if it'll work or not. But I'm going to try making, it's curried acorn, squash, and apple soup. So we'll see if this works. I've never made it before. So I have 4 acorn squash here that I poked holes in with a knife, and I put it in the microwave for about 13 minutes, and then I cut it in half, and now I'm going to clean them all out. And it's real easy if you've never cleaned out an acorn squash before. You just use a spoon and scrape it out. It comes right out, just like that. So I'm going to do the other 3 acorn squash right quick. Okay, so I'm having issues with my acorn squash. The recipe says it's supposed to take 8 to 10 minutes to cook them in the microwave. I think my microwave is on the fritz because I'm going on like 25 minutes and they're just not getting done. So while I'm waiting for them to cook, I'm going to show you what all the ingredients are that are needed in this soup. So first is, the recipe calls for 1 acorn squash. So I have 6 people in my family, 4 kids, 2 adults, and so I'm quadrupling this. But here is some of the acorn squash, the meat that I got out of one that was finished, and I'm just waiting for the rest to cook. Then there is canola oil. Canola oil. I'm going to use that just in the fry pan. The recipe calls for 1 onion. Well, rather than put 4 in, my onions were pretty big, so that's a lot of onion, but we'll see what happens. It also calls for Granny Smith apples, 1 Granny Smith apple. That's 4 cut up. It says to peel them and chop them in 1/2-inch cubes. And also with the onions, you know, you peel it and you chop it up tiny. So 1 acorn squash, 1 Granny Smith apple, 1 onion, and then it also calls for chicken broth, 2 cups of chicken broth. That's 8 for me because I'm quadrupling it. And then curry powder. It calls for 2 teaspoons of curry powder, which I'll be putting in 8 teaspoons. So there is the ingredients, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I put about 3 tablespoons of canola oil in my pot, and while the rest of my acorn squash are cooking, I'm going to saute the onions and the apples. Oops, I'm going to have to go cut those. Okay, so those are going to saute. I'll be back in a minute. Okay, the onions are starting to get a little translucent. I'm going to keep cooking them, but now I am going to add the curry powder, which it calls for 2 teaspoons of curry powder, but since I am quadrupling the recipe, I'm adding 8 teaspoons of curry powder. If you've never cooked with curry powder, I really encourage you to give it a try because it is amazing, an amazing spice. Okay, after battling the acorn squash for about an hour in my stupid microwave, this is what I got out of my acorn squash. For some reason, one of them was lighter than all the others. I'm not sure why. But, okay, so what we do next is add the squash. There's a piece of rind. And add the chicken broth. And then I'm going to, I might need a bigger saucepan. And then I'm going to boil it for 15 minutes. So I'm going to stir this up a bit and get it up to a boil and see what happens. Okay, I'm also going to add some salt to this, although the recipe doesn't call for it. And I am going to use an immersion blender. It's been 15 minutes that it's been boiling. And I don't know how this is going to work, but we'll see. Back that up so it doesn't get splattered. Woo! Splatter. I've never used an immersion blender before. And I'm thoroughly splattered. Oops. So, okay, I'm gonna put this in a bowl and see what it tastes like. Okay, here's my soup with Dave's Killer Bread. That's the name of it, with Brummel and Brown spread. And my stallion is going to sample the soup and tell me what he thinks of it.
Breathe, Dad, breathe.
Okay.
Chew, swallow, and breathe. That's the key.
Taste it.
Yeah.
Stallion. Is it good?
Yeah, I like it.
You like it?
Yeah.
Good enough to eat a whole bowl?
Probably have seconds.
Okay, here's my daughter Chloe. What do you think of the soup?
I really like it.
Do you taste the curry?
Mhm.
And you like it?
Mhm.
Like enough to have a second bowl?
Much.
Much. Hot? Okay. Okie dokie. I'm going to taste it now. This is very good, but the recipe called for Granny Smith apples, and it's very tart because I can taste the tart green apples in it. If I make this again, I will use something like Golden Delicious apples that are sweet and not tart, because I don't like the tart in this, but it is very good and slightly spicy because of the curry. It has just a little bit of heat to it. And boy, this is a comfort food. Very good. Now this supposedly, I haven't done the math, but supposedly has about 145 calories in it. So that's all, folks. See you later.